I think you forgot to mention that this is the point where we get to do some exercise today. Tomorrow will mark 7 years since I first moved here to Australia. And back then, if anyone had told me that I'll be standing in front of you here today giving a TEDx talk, I probably would have doubted it. But here I am today, and I like to use it as a testament that anything is possible if you want it bad enough. And I feel so honored to be in the position that I am today, where the curator of this event can ask me to give a talk. Anyway, my topic today is, what if instead of saying harden up or toughen up, we create a platform where people can freely express themselves without any form of judgment. I believe we would all love to see a society where it was okay to be whoever and whatever we wanted to be, and express ourselves in the way we wanted to without someone passing judgment. When I first moved here to Australia, I had a huge culture shock. And it wasn't because I moved from a third world country to a developed country. Sadly, it was because I got to realize that our society didn't provide the right platform for people to freely express themselves. I saw a society where it wasn't okay to be sentimental or appear to be vulnerable without someone offering you a spoon of concrete to harden up. For the first time in my life, I got told to toughen up. And I can remember thinking back then to myself, wow, if only this person knew what it meant to be tough. You know, where I come from, we don't put our dirty clothes in the washing machine and they come out clean. We have to wash them with our hands. In fact, most people don't even know what a washing machine is. We don't turn on the tap and get running water. We have to walk for kilometers most times to get water to drink, water to bathe, water to cook, etc. We don't flick a switch at nighttime and get lights. We have to light lanterns to see at night. That's just to give you an idea of what life's like where I come from. Harden up, mate. Toughen up, princess. Would you like a teaspoon of concrete so you can harden up? You'll be alright. Pussy, moose, soft, sook. Those are some of the sentences and adjectives we use in Australia today every time we see someone act or speak in a manner that does not meet our society's standards of being tough. You know, majority of the time when we say to someone, harden up or toughen up, we think it's a joke. And maybe we're truly joking. But we also have to remember what's a joke to one person may not always be a joke to another person. I strongly believe that by telling people to harden up or toughen up, we help to create a pretentious society where people feel the need to appear to be tough on the outside, when deep down on the inside they're suffering. It also helps to create a society that drives people into isolation, where they feel like they're alone and that no one would understand how they feel or would understand what they have to say. In our society today, males and females are under an enormous amount of pressure and expectation to act in a certain way just to meet the demands of our society. Using males as an example, boys from an early age hearing things like, don't throw or punch like a girl, men don't cry, etc. Let me tell you this, men do cry. And it's very much okay for anyone to express their emotions. What's not okay though, is calling them names or telling them to harden up. I remember a few years ago now I was sharing a story with a mate. And the story I was sharing wasn't really about me, but it was related to someone I knew. And as I was sharing the story, I felt so sad about what this person was going through at the time that I began to cry. And after I shared the story, my mate jokingly says to me, "You're a bit of a sook, aren't you?" We laughed about it at the time, but I still remember those words today. Now, it wasn't my mate's fault to think that I was a sook for crying, but the society in which it was brought up. Something else that really shocked me when I first moved here was the suicide crisis that we have going on in Australia. People are taking their own lives far too often. According to a statistic I saw on Beyond Blue's website, and I quote, "In Australia, suicide is the leading cause of death for males and females aged between 15 and 44. In Australia, in a typical year, around 2,500 people die by suicide. That's nearly 7 people every day. Astounding." Initially, it was something that I really struggled to wrap my head around. You know, coming from Liberia, a war-torn and third world country in Africa, and also being someone who experienced war at an early age and experienced some difficult times myself, I never really understood why people with so much opportunity in Australia would choose to give it all away by taking their own lives. But as time went on, I got to understand that suicide had a lot to do with more than just a person's socioeconomic status. it was a result of mental illness. Mental illness in the form of anxiety and depression. I've heard stories and seen a few Facebook posts over the years where friends and relatives have mourned the loss of their loved ones. And one thing that has always been constant in all of those stories that I've heard and the posts that I've seen is the regret that they didn't see it coming. And the wish that the person who committed suicide had shared their feelings and what they were going through. And that makes me wonder, could it just be that we've created a society where people are too afraid of being judged that they keep their feelings to themselves and not reach out for help? Personally, I think there needs to be more funding and more awareness for suicide prevention organizations like Beyond Blue, Lifeline, Headspace, the Grapevine Group, etc. But if the only means by which a person suffering from suicide can freely express themselves is by going to the likes of these organizations, then I believe we have a problem. We have a problem because that is not enough, evident of the fact that nearly 7 people are taking their own lives every day in Australia. We need to create a society and environment where it's okay for people to freely express themselves to their parents, to their siblings, to their friends, to their teachers, fellow students, etc. Because a person suffering from anxiety and depression or isolation just needs someone to listen to them without judging them or telling them to harden up. Back in 2012, when I first started my business, Muscle Garden Health and Fitness Center, back then it was a personal training business. After a year and a half, we opened a gym. But it was very important for me to point out right from the start that I wasn't just going to be a trainer to my client. I pointed this out on my website's homepage. That I was also going to be a friend to my client. And as a friend, not only would I help them achieve their health and fitness goals, I was also going to be someone they could confide in. And over the past 4+ years, not only have I helped my clients achieve some amazing results, I've also been a listening ear. I have provided and continue to provide a platform where each client can freely express themselves without me passing judgment. Over this period of time, not once have I said to a client, harden up or toughen up, regardless of what shape or form they were in. If we want a society where it's okay for people to freely express themselves without us calling them names or telling them to harden up, if we want a society where it's okay for Jess to go to the gym, work out, develop a muscular physique without any judgment, if we want a society where it's okay for Peter to go and listen to Justin Bieber, like Miles shouldn't be listening to Justin Bieber, right? Or even One Direction for that matter. If we want a society where it was okay to make mistakes and still be accepted, a society where it didn't matter how many likes you had on a Facebook photo or Instagram photo, then it starts with you and myself. The Greek philosopher Plato once said, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." Let's be kind, let's listen, and let's not be too quick to give our opinion. So maybe next time, instead of saying harden up or toughen up, maybe we can ask, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Remember, the change starts with you. Thanks for having me.